Anthony Joshua has been involved in a fatal car crash on a notorious highway in Nigeria.
The fatal crash near Lagos occurring just over a week after Anthony Joshua had knocked out YouTuber Jake Paul in Miami.
In a chilling twist of fate, British Olympic boxing star Anthony Joshua emerged alive from the twisted wreckage of a catastrophic car crash that claimed several lives, sending shockwaves through the sporting world and beyond. What began as an ordinary journey turned into a scene of devastation in seconds, leaving emergency responders racing against time and fans holding their breath.
2 dead as Anthony Joshua is involved in a road accident on the expressway. Details are coming in real time.
According to early reports within this fictional scenario, the crash occurred with such force that survival seemed impossible. Mangled metal, shattered glass, and silence filled the aftermath, making Joshua's rescue nothing short of miraculous. Authorities described the scene as one of the most severe they had encountered, underscoring the razor-thin line between life and death. As news of his survival spread, tributes, prayers, and messages of disbelief poured in from across the globe. The incident serves as a sobering reminder that even the strongest figures celebrated for power, resilience, and dominance are not immune to tragedy, and that survival itself can sometimes be the greatest victory of all.
Fortunately for him, 2 of his close friends have in a car accident that so easily could have taken AJ's life.
After the dust settled, boxing analyst Teddy Atlas offered a fresh perspective. While everyone recognizes Anthony as a powerhouse, Teddy saw a possible opening for Jake. He noted that Joshua has never appeared in this kind of condition before, and wondered if his focus might be off. Meanwhile, Jake has been grinding through camp, staying sharp and disciplined, and Teddy suggested that could put serious pressure on AJ, maybe even tilt the fight in Jake's favor.
He hasn't been below 252, I think, for the last 5 fights or so, and he's been higher than that. So here's a guy 15 months off. He's got to come in the lowest weight. He's got to come in lower than any weight in his last 5 fights. He's got to come in where he hasn't been doing nothing for 15 months. He didn't have a huge amount of time for this fight to get ready once it was announced, and then of course have a training camp and everything else. And they're already talking about.
On the other hand, boxing analyst Teddy Atlas offered a different perspective. While everyone knows Anthony is a powerhouse, Teddy saw a possible path for Jake. He pointed out that Joshua has never entered a fight looking like this, and perhaps his focus isn't fully there. Meanwhile, Jake has been grinding through camp, staying disciplined and sharp, and Teddy suggested that could put serious pressure on AJ, maybe even tilt the fight in Jake's favor.
If it's not scripted, then do you think it's dangerous?
It's dangerous no matter what. It's dangerous no matter. When you step your legs over those ropes, or you put your back under the ropes and go in there, no matter how you may enter that ring, it's dangerous. It's dangerous.
Former UFC fighter and sports analyst Michael Bisping noted that AJ has already proven just how dangerous he can be against opponents without professional boxing experience. He praised Joshua as a true knockout artist and predicted that, if he performed as expected, the fight against Jake wouldn't last long. The comments underscored the clear gap between elite professional boxers and crossover fighters entering the heavyweight ring.
Listen, people die in boxing. I think the sad stat is something like 8 to 10 fighters per year pass away because of the bigger gloves. You can take more shots to the head. This is a very, very serious situation. Anthony Joshua is one of the most successful heavyweights of this generation. He's got real knockout power. Again, look at what he did to Francis Ngannou. You don't need to look any further than that. A gigantic mountain of a man that was a UFC heavyweight champion of the world, that destroyed the heavyweight champion in the PFL. He stepped in the ring with Anthony Joshua and he got flatlined by every shot and he got knocked out in the second round.
Malignaggi was even more blunt. He said weight wouldn't bother Joshua and noted that while fighters like Dillian Whyte have hurt AJ, that only happens when someone stands and trades. Could Jake do that? Malignaggi doubted it, pointing out that Jake tends to back up under pressure, and at this level, retreating robs you of power.
You gotta be able to throw power with him as he's throwing. So that takes a certain amount of guts, because obviously when he's throwing the power at you, He could hit you and you could go, right? And Jake is smaller than AJ. At this point, this is not a typical Jake opponent where they're a bit smaller. You know, the deck is not stacked against AJ. AJ's actually probably stacking the deck over Jake. The only thing AJ really has to do is make 245 pounds just to make that weight, which I think he probably makes it, you know, maybe a little struggle, but not that much. You punch with AJ, what happens? You may be able to catch him. Guys like Dillian White have caught AJ and rocked him badly when they fought each other. So you punch with AJ, you may be able to catch him. But the thing about Jake is he capable of punching with you? Anytime I've seen the opposing fighter attack Jake with any kind of offense, any kind of punching.
Paulie also criticized Jake's tendency to wait for his moment instead of striking. Against Joshua, hesitation gets punished. Heavyweight boxing leaves no room to overthink.
From Chavez Jr. to Tyson, anybody, Jake doesn't hold his ground. So therefore, how are you going to punch with somebody if you don't hold your ground? You got to slip and rip from where you are in that way if you're going to punch with somebody. You can't bail on the pocket every time somebody throws a punch at you. That's what I call your turn, my turn, where you only throw when it's your turn, and then when the other guy's turn is he's taking his turn throwing, you don't even want anything to do with it. You just bail the pocket. It's a very rookie-esque, beginner-ish mistake. I wouldn't say mistake, it's just a habit.
Many are recalling Shane Mosley's pre-fight warning. Joshua isn't just a name. He's an Olympic champ and a true heavyweight who's faced the best. For Jake Paul, moving up from a smaller division is a huge challenge. Mosley added that Joshua only gets hurt by genuine heavy hitters.
I don't understand. I just can't see it. I think that it's a great publicity stunt, I guess, or whatever, but I can't see Jake beating Anthony Joshua. I just can't see it.
Chris Algieri didn't hold back. He called the fight crazy, not hype, but the sheer gap in experience. He gave Jake credit for knowing the risks and dismissed any notion that the bout was staged. Jake's past wins were real, but this was a whole different level.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's just the fact that I can't even picture these two in the ring together. It's insane. Listen, Jake is not dumb, and he can't really think that he can compete with this guy. And unless there's some stipulation that we're not hearing about, which I'm not a guy who thinks that Jake's fights are rigged. I really don't think that. I think that all of his wins are real.
Dave Allen gave a blunt take on Joshua's future. He said AJ's path to another world title depends on who holds the belts. Facing someone like Usyk might be too much. Joshua remains a huge draw, but the heavyweight division is full of young, hungry fighters. For Allen, it's not just talent, it's about staying active, sharp, and committed if he wants another shot at the top.
Depends who's about. Depends who holds the titles. If Tom has him, or Usyk still has hold of him, Caballero, probably not. But he's so marketable and such a big name, he's always going to be given the best opportunity to win one. But I think if them guys are about and have the titles, I'd probably edge towards saying no.
Nelson focused on the mental game. He said, winning world titles demands total belief and no underestimating anyone. Even if Jake Paul isn't the favorite, Joshua can't be careless. A single lapse or moment of arrogance can be costly.
Of course you've got to say that to yourself, otherwise there's no point in doing it. You've got to put that in your head. Some fighters' aim might be to be British champion, European, Commonwealth. So you've got to give yourself an aim, because if you're just you know, treading water in no man's land, then you think, what is the point in this? So he's a mercenary, he's just in it for the money. So do I think he really believes he can be world champion again? No, I don't. He's got to kid himself and tell himself that. Do I think he can be? I don't. Do I think that it's a dangerous fight for him? Yeah, because everything's about AJ. If he steps a foot wrong, oh my goodness, he can't do this, he's done. It's about AJ. Nobody expects Jake Paul to win apart from Jake Paul. I bet his own dad doesn't even expect him to win. So if anybody says, yeah, no, Jake Paul's going to do it, they're gamblers.
On the other hand, Jake's confidence never wavered. His dad, Gregory Allen Paul, said Jake always believed he could surprise everyone. The strategy was clear: attack the body, wear Joshua down, then go for a big shot. It was Jake's toughest test yet. A massive, skilled heavyweight, but his mindset, preparation, and fearless attitude made it possible.
I think Jake's going to upset the boxing world like he usually does. I think he's going to drop him with a couple body shots and then
probably followed up with something to the chin.
Jake Paul just scored the biggest win of his career. Against all doubts, the size and experience gap, he proved he can compete at a level many thought impossible. Now the focus shifts. Bigger opponents, bigger paydays, and real title talks are on the table. Jake has moved from curiosity to contender, and every fight ahead carries huge stakes. This wasn't just a win, it was a statement. He silenced critics and opened a new chapter in his career. Hit like, subscribe for more reactions and analysis, and let us know in the comments who you want to see Jake face next. Turn on notifications so you don't miss what comes next in boxing.